Hi, dear friends. Thank you very much for joining me to Saturday Extravaganza. This is Einat Kessler with this week's project, which is going to be an amazing interactive mini album. So I'm using the really great envelope mini album by Basically Bear. It's called Crafty Keepsake Vintage. It has 4 white envelopes and a chipboard, which we are not going to use. So first I'm going to remove the binding, so it's going to be much easier for me to work with the envelopes. If you can leave it on there, of course, if you want to. It will be a little more difficult to create this mini album, but if you need to leave it there, then just do. I always rather take it out. It's much easier this way, especially since we're going to fold our envelopes to all kinds of directions, so folding becomes much easier when you remove the binding. I'm going to use the Bo Bunny Beautiful Collections, the Avenues. It has also embellishments. I really like it, so I'm going to do the whole mini with that. So first I'm going to show you how to fold all the envelopes to create our pockets and surprises. So the first one, we're going to fold the envelope not in half but to 1/3 of the envelope, like so, and we're going to put some dry adhesive score tape on the edges to create our pocket on the bottom and on the top of only the flap that we folded. Okay, so just remove the excess here. So we're going to put these 2 score tape straps on the top and on the bottom, and then we're going to refold it and glue it down, and this will give us a pocket. Make sure you burnish it really well. So there's a pocket, and then there's the pocket of the envelope, which in itself, an envelope is a sort of a pocket, right? So that's the first page. The second page is we're going to do a sort of an accordion fold. We're going to fold it the same way we did the first page, but then we're going to fold it again to the other side. So we have 2 folds, one for each side. See, this is what's supposed to happen on this page. So you have 1 pocket here and 1 pocket there. Okay, so now we're going to put our score tape on the flap that we folded on the top and on the bottom like before, because if we put the score tape on the other sides other than the top and the bottom, we won't have a pocket because we'll close all the openings. So make sure not to get confused with that. So again, we're folding it, burnishing it with our bone folder, and you have 1 pocket, and then you have a second pocket. Okay, the third page, we're going to do some cutting. We're going to put the knife into the envelope and just cut on the fold line there about 1/3 way into the envelope on both sides. So we're basically separating the envelope, and then only the top part we're going to fold like we did the other 2. So it's 1/3. So we have 1 pocket, 2 pockets, 3 pockets. So again, on the flap we're going to put our score tape on the bottom and on the top, and then we're going to secure it down and create our triple pocket page. Okay, so again, we have 1, we have 2, and 3. The last one we're going to leave as is, and so these are our 4 pages, and now we are going to cover them with the beautiful pattern papers by Bo Bunny. Basically what you need to do is cut your basic shapes from whatever papers you like in the collection, you would have to measure the sizes there with a ruler, and I can tell you that the measurements are 8 2/4 of an inch by 4 1/4 of an inch. So you have to cut a few of the triangles of that size, and then we will cut them and cover our envelope pages. I think you would need about 8 triangles, and the best thing is to just mix and match all the different papers. So we're gonna start. It doesn't matter the order because we're gonna decide the order at the end. So first we're gonna cover each page by parts because we want to maintain all the pockets that we did. So we're gonna start with the triple pocket page. So first we're gonna cover this side, and remember we need to create the holes because once we cover it with paper and there's no holes, we can't bind it later. So you have to use a bind it all and just redo all the holes. And the secret to do that is cover one side, do the holes, and then cover the other side and do the holes. Because if you cover two sides and only then do the holes, you don't know where the holes should go. So that's like a small tip for you guys there. So I'm creating a nice edge with my Martha Stewart border punch, and this is going to be the middle part of our triple pocket page. When I create interactive and mini albums, I always like to use dry glue, not liquid glue, because the liquid glue tends to go to places I don't want. Plus it takes a long time to dry. So use dry glue, dry adhesive, it's the best. So one pocket 2 is ready, and this is the other side of the pocket that we're going to cover. And if there's excess from pieces of paper that you're applying, then just cut them with your scissors. We're also going to cover the envelope flap there, just to make sure everything is nice and covered, and cut the excess with scissors. The other side of the envelope paper is going to be a pocket created with the envelope flap. So what we're going to do, we're going to cover the entire surface of the envelope, not the flap, and then cut off the excess, of course. After you cut off the excess, you create the little pocket by putting the score tape on top and the bottom of the flap. And then once you secure it, you have a small pocket. So this is our first page. Of course, you still need to do the holes. And like I always do, you probably know me by now, distress all the edges of the paper and the page. You probably should do this part before you glue it to the envelope, but if not, it's never too late. You can do it after. So this is our first page, 1, 2, and then 3. This is our triple pocket page, and on the other side the small pocket with the flap. So one page is done. Let's move to the next page. So this is one of our mini pages that we folded. So we have 2 pockets. We basically have 2 pages like that, only they both face different directions. So we cover it in the same way we did with our first page. With dry adhesive, you cover it by parts because you want to keep the pockets. You don't want to accidentally cover the opening there. So this is the flap of the original flap of the envelope, which I'm going to cover now. as you can see, I always prefer using larger pieces of paper and then cut the excess off, rather than measure it and make a mistake of not having enough paper. Of course, you don't have to do it the same way I do, but this is the way I like to do it. So, you know, whatever makes you happy, you guys. So anyway, this is the other side of the flap that we're covering now. And of course, cutting the excess off. And now for the other part there. And those papers are so beautiful, they all match together, so it's really easy. I always recommend, when you do a mini album, the first thing to do is, you know, choose a collection, because then everything matches and it helps you maintain this cohesive look for your mini album. So this is a pattern on one of the papers that I'm going to cut and create a pocket out of it. So it's going to have this nice curly edge that follows the pattern on the paper. This is a nice tip for you guys, to just use whatever is on the papers. Sometimes it's really cool patterns that you can use. So first we're going to cover the paper itself. I'm going to do it with two different pieces of paper. The reason I'm doing that is because I want to use my scraps instead of just cutting another big 12 by 12 paper. So 3 ways I'm putting my adhesive, and the opening stays with no adhesive, and then we're securing it, cutting off a little bit of the excess there, and then we have a pocket. Nice and easy. Okay, for our third paper, which is basically the same, the double pocket mini page, also we're going to cover it in stages. So one side will have the 2 pockets, and the other side will have a flat, you know, background. So I'm measuring this because if I don't measure it, then it's gonna go on my fold with the flap, and I don't want to do that. So this is 4 1/4, but you measure it with your better to measure it with your ruler. But that's, I think, the only part that we needed to measure, other than in the beginning. Okay, so we have 1 and 2 pockets there, and now to cover the flap. Don't you just love these papers? They're amazing. I really like this, the Avenues collection. It's amazing. So the flap is ready, 1 and 2 pockets, and I'm going to cover the other side of the page with just 1 piece of paper and have no pockets there. Burnish it really well so it will all be nice and accurate and crisp and glued down really, really well. So this is our third page, which of course we need to distress the edges. Always distress the edges, it gives it so much more dimension and definition. So I really like doing that. Our fourth page, we're going to leave our envelope as it is, cover it. As you can see, this is a smaller piece of paper. I did not get confused, it's on purpose, because we're going to add another pocket. What I'm doing is the same border that I did with the before. This is going to have the same border with my Martha Stewart punch, and this piece is going to go on the envelope and create a horizontal pocket. Okay, so you have to basically 1.5 or 2 inches will be enough, and then you just of course distress the edges and put some glue, 1 and 2 and 3, not on the top because then you won't have a pocket, and then you just secure it on your paper, cut off the excess, and there you have a pocket there. It's a really nice big pocket. And then another pocket that is the envelope itself. So now we're going to cover the flap, of course. We don't want to leave any part of the envelope that is not covered with this beautiful pattern paper. So we have double pocket here as well, double pockets. The other side is also going to be covered, of course, but with no pockets. I'm going to leave it as it is. Look at that beautiful paper with all the windows. It's not windows, it's shutters actually. Old shutters, kind of a vintage shutters. So, and just the flap there. And don't forget, you have to redo all the holes in your pages so you can bind it later back to a mini album form. So this is our fourth page, and now I'm going to do the covers. The same way goes for the covers. You have to cover one side, do the holes, and then cover the other side and do the holes. The same principle as we did for our pages. And of course, for the front binder, I took the nicest paper that I like with the bird. It's actually a really cool paper collection with birds and clocks. What more can you ask? My favorites. So this is the front cover, the back cover, and now I'm going to arrange my pages. You can arrange them any way you want. The order is up to you. And after they're all covered, just bind them with the rings again. So these are our pockets. There are triple pockets, the double pockets mini page, the other double pockets. So here are all our pages, and basically now all you have to do is embellish them. So I didn't take you through the whole process of embellishing because that took forever. So I'm just going to show you the final result. So this is the cover, and there's a charm there that I created by using Tim Holtz gizmo, which I don't remember the name. What's it's called? Clasps. And what I did is I added a few charms to it. And here you have some cutouts from papers and the embellishments from the Bo Bunny collection, as well as some Prima flowers. I also used some metal clocks by Tim Holtz and some metal tabs also by Tim Holtz. And basically what I did is embellish the mini album and created the tags. The tags will be great for journaling. You can also cut some photos and put them in the pockets instead of tags. Here we have one tag on one side and one tag on the other side. Basically, one of the papers in the collection is all tags, so you can cut it and you have ready-made beautiful embellished tags that you don't have to create. And this is our mini page with one tag in there and another tag in the pocket there. Well, it's not there, but you can put one in there. I didn't make one, obviously, forgot, but you get the idea. And I have to add the tag there because I can't leave it tagless. So just adding one more tag in there. I'm sorry it's out of the camera. I have no idea what I was doing here. This is very rude and I really apologize, but there's the tag goes in there. Sorry. Very rude. Out of camera. It's basically just a piece of paper that I punched in the border and put a sticker on it, and there's a tag there. Moving on, this is the page that has no pockets, basically. Just a nice embellishment. Oh, I also added some metal flowers that I got from Michael's, and apparently they're by EK Success, and they're really cool. This is a horizontal pocket with 2 tags, and then there's another tag in the envelope. Of course, like I said, you can use your photos, not just tags. Here I created a frame that you can insert a photo, and this you have a tag that opens up. You can put some photos in there, and another tag inside the mini pocket with the flap. And here is our pocket with the pattern paper that we created, and the last page has no pockets, just for photos or whatever embellishments you want to add. So I hope I've inspired you to create some pockets and do some interactive designing with papers. And I want to thank you very much for joining me. I hope you liked the project this week, and I'm here for any question that you have about interactive design. And thank you very much for joining me, you guys. Love you all. See you next time. Bye.